Hello, everyone. This is Melina and
Jordan.
and we are the Melina and
Jordan.
and we are the board certified Baes.
Baes.
Welcome back. Thanks for tuning in today.
Yeah.
We got an interesting one today.
We do.
I have named it "Don't Bring That Ish in Here."
Don't bring that ish in here.
So basically, today is gonna be talking about how we. Actually, I don't want to give too much yet.
All right.
First, we're gonna just
You're
drop a little bit of a highlight of one of the one of the ethics codes that are, the ones that we have to all abide by. So, can you just go ahead and cover really quick? Give us a little blip about code
Blip.
110.
All right. So, Ethics Code 110 is about having awareness of personal biases and challenges. Yeah.
We all got them.
Yeah. We do. We do. And yeah.
So, we're going to jump in. And I'm going to go ahead and just ask you, Jordan.
All right.
Have you ever had a day that was hard, but you still had to show up and show out at work?
Of course.
Can you give me an example?
I feel like this happens all of the time. How about our car got stolen?
Dang, I was going to use that example. And I was real pregnant.
Had to show up like nothing happened. And just show up and show out for the kids.
Yeah, I'm going to add to that one. I was real pregnant. And our car got stolen. And then we had to take our daughter to daycare. And then we still got to work like only 30 minutes late.
Yeah. I had to do therapy with a smile on our face.
Like this.
Ding. Yep.
So that was fun. And then like 3 weeks later, I was like, oh yeah, and then our car got stolen. Like I was like casually saying it to people and they're like, what? When did your... I was like, I know. It's so crazy.
Yeah.
So.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Or more recently, dealing with a health insurance debacle and having to be on the phone to a health care provider or insurance provider, trying to navigate that world where they don't seem to listen or understand what it is that we're talking about. Saying one thing, but they're doing another. It's really frustrating. But then still being able to show up and show out.
Guys, I do not recommend this. Don't do this. Don't do this. But I ran out of my medication. Don't do this. I ran out of my anxiety medication because health insurance issues. And I still had to come to work and work. And we got through it. But don't do it. Don't do it. Do what I say, not as I do. Please. It was a new year. There was a lot going on. Not an excuse. But again, just little examples of like, I know people probably can tell when we are not as enthusiastic as we usually are. But I would hope that no one is ever like able to say that we couldn't keep it together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, are you saying as a couple or are you saying like as a couple in the same workplace? Because we're in the same workplace.
Well, that too. But I mean like just separate.
Or is it like at work, like doing our job?
Yeah, doing our job. Doing our job. And that, even if someone has wronged us or we feel like someone may be, I don't know, spreading information about, I don't know, from a leadership perspective, not everybody's probably going to like you, right? Mm-hmm. But it's still our responsibility to come in and treat our staff all with respect, equally, etc., right? Even that, I would say from a BCBA perspective, that's also something that's like, it can be one of those things where people get like cliquey or catty or things like that, but we're called to be above that. So that's another one. Yeah.
I mean, you could go down the list, getting cursed out from a family and then walking in and working with their child as if you didn't just hear a bunch of words.
Yep.
Because it's not about us. It's about the child or how they feel. Or getting into a session and there's a massive tantrum that's really dangerous with aggression and things like that, and then having to go into your next client afterwards as if that didn't just happen, and still
Fresh.
being the fresh rising star shine. Like,
Especially
it's
in
happening.
clinic, it's no joke. Because,
Half the people in there saw what happened, and then they're like,
well,
how do you
not
do that?
just that, but I think like when we were in home, at least you had a 10, 15, 30-minute drive to like reset and decompress. Whereas here it's you, yeah, psh, psh, and then you go and you turn and you go to the next room and you keep it together.
Yeah.
So, not always. That's not our everyday, but there are days that are
Yeah.
more losses than wins and still having to show up and do that. Okay, so then in the reverse of that, you got your car stolen. Now you're super angry and you came to work and you're taking it out on everyone. How do you think that would affect our staff, our clients, etc.?
Horribly. One, like if they're looking to you for answers and you're in that leadership role as being a behavior analyst, right, of your team or like whatever, if you are, yeah, I guess there's two sides to it. There is like, you can own up and like be admitting that you're having a hard day, right? And your team members, they're going to respect you for being honest and open with them about that. But your actions, you're a behavior analyst, like your actions cannot reflect that, right? You might be, a little bit slower, but eventually you just bounce out of it, right? And having an explanation for that's okay, but you can't take it out on anybody, right? It's got nothing to do with them. We cannot bring events outside of work, and that's what this code is talking about. We have to know that we have the mental capacity to show up for these individuals, both staff, clients, colleagues,
Yeah.
whichever level. We have to be able to show up responsibly, respectfully, and have integrity with what it is that we're doing. And we cannot shy away from that despite what's going on in our lives.
I think not only what's going on with our lives, but I would like to, we're not going to go deep into this, but I would like to say as we start the new year in America, climates are changing or resurfacing. And I think that's one too, where it's like having to be able to stay professional and care for your client, regardless if you agree with them or not, too. That's one that I think is going to be a big one for a lot of us this upcoming season.
Yeah. Yeah. Our job is to provide the best quality of services that we can, which means that we have to be very objective with our own capabilities and our own responses to particular stimuli. And if we cannot do that, we're jeopardizing not only our credentials, but we're jeopardizing the level of change that we can make for the individual that we're servicing.
Wow, you said that so much more scientific. That was amazing.
What?
Okay, so how do you actively refrain from bringing your biases or your issues into your work?
How do you stop bringing it in?
How do you actively prevent yourself from doing that?
I don't know. I think I'm really good at compartmentalizing. So like, if I can't change it, it's not my problem. Like I shouldn't, if I can't make a change or it's not about me, or there's nothing I can do, then I should not be emotionally invested to the point where it's changing my behavior because I can't change it. It's already happened. It's done. It's dusted. That's it. So that's kind of how I view things. If I don't have the capacity or the skills or the ability to be able to change an event or a course of events, then I should not be wasting my time worrying about it because it's going to take away from the individual ahead of me. The other thing I think about is what is the next win that I can get.
Yeah.
And I can get another win with kids. And if I can get another win with kids, I'm all for it.
Yeah.
Some of those hard days, and then going and cutting a kid's hair for the first time, not like we're a barber or anything, but like getting desensitized to like the traumatic experiences, right? Which is, if you're looking for the word, which is respondent extinction, to those traumatic experiences that were previously there from getting haircuts, and then seeing that win is like, yes, this made my day worth it. And I've had a couple of those already this year where it's like, it's been a hard day because of, we're not progressing. I'm double checking things, worried about myself failing these kids that I'm working with or a child that I'm working with because something's not working right or things have started to change and go decline. Those hit heavy. But I can't worry about that when I'm out of that session. I have to worry about the next one because I can't have that disservice. And then, getting a win at the end of the day, it's like, yes, this day ended great. It was worth it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think, yeah. I don't think that really answered your question, but it just really depends on what it is. But I do shut off what happened and move on to the next because I can't control the past.
Yeah, we're not alike.
What's your...
We're not alike.
You take it home and you talk to me about it right before we fall asleep.
Not as much as I feel like I previously did.
Just kidding.
I think one thing that I've turned to recently is just trying to like be active so that I can like give myself a moment to completely disconnect. I think that kind of helps me be able to kind of restart or refresh, I guess. Some things that I've been kind of like in my mind worked up about or escalated about that maybe have happened at work. I feel like it gives me a time to kind of like let it go. That's just something that I feel like has worked for me as of recently. Other than that, I think I just try to remind myself like it's not about me.
Those are important things. Like I say this all the time to the staff and like BCBAs that are around me is, we've chosen to be in a highly selfless job. Yeah. Right. We might have selfish reasons because we like getting the wins and being the one to help them. Like that might be it. But the job itself is highly selfless. Right. We are constantly giving ourselves, sometimes without progress, to others. Right. That in itself just tells you that it is not about us. Yeah. And we chose that. So we can't go against that. Yeah. So we do have to come up with our coping skills for whatever it is that we've been going through. It's actually it's a funny interview question that I ask people.
What are your coping skills?
No, not like what. Oh. Do you have like a coping skill or a way to decompress after a hard day? Because when people say no, I'm like, you might burn out. Yeah.
Yeah. You're like, let me get you some real quick.
Yeah. Something to think about.
Yeah. That's good. Okay. Well, if we pivot and we kind of, because obviously we are the Baes, we talk about relationships, we talk about life. Baes. So I guess if we could pivot and kind of turn this into like a relationship question.
Okay.
How can bringing past issues that aren't relevant to your current relationship, how can bringing past issues for maybe other relationships be damaging for like the relationship that you are currently in? Does that make sense?
Kinda. Let me get the question right. So how bringing baggage from one relationship into the next one, is that what you're saying?
From previous, it doesn't even have to be like a romantic relationship, just previous relationships, period. So bringing baggage from previous relationships into your current relationship.
Got it. So anything before you, basically.
Yes.
Like baggage from any of that.
Yes.
Okay. And then is it good or is it bad?
No, baggage, I would say, is bad. So like, yeah. So like, how can that be problematic or damaging to a relationship that is like new and growing?
Well, to a degree, it might mean that you're not able to separate from the past. To a degree, I think the other thing is it's damaging because it takes away the focus on what could be. Because you're looking back. Yeah. So, I think that's where like that part would come in, but it needs to be a clean slate. It's a new start.
Yeah, but I would even think like when it comes to like family, right? Like sometimes we have our biases, the things that we've grown up in, or things that we've had hurt from that also can play a part in our romantic relationships. So I would say for me, being proactive and like having therapy, that's for me. I think that's helped me to, because I know that that was probably something that halted our relationship in the beginning. Was like, yeah, we knew each other really well, so that helped. But I was quick to still be like bringing things from, whether it be things that happened when I was growing up or past relationships, things like that. So quick to like bring that in, which luckily you were patient, but that could have potentially like, you know, led to us ending rather than growing from it. You know what I mean? So I feel like that's one thing too, is like being proactive in the sense of like, if you are actively looking into being in a new relationship, making sure that there aren't any of those biases or anything, or being aware of them, I guess, so that you can be open and talk about that as soon as you start to invest time in that.
I mean, just humans, we're creatures of habit. Getting rid of it is going to be hard. Being aware of it is easier. Being aware and being able to have responsible adult conversations.
Yep.
I think is a good thing.
Just kidding.
There is actually a microphone.
Yeah, but I'm not going to drop it.
And being proactive about it is definitely important. Coming to terms with your past or whatever baggage you have, and being optimistic about the future is always a good thing. But it also means you should be open to not starting things the same way that you have all the other times.
Amen. And on that note,
amen.
Okay. And on that note, I think that kind of wraps up our episode.
It does.
Okay, cool. Well, thank you guys for tuning in. And just a reminder, don't bring that ish in here, please. Okay. Love you guys. Bye.
Bye.